You want to get better at sewing? First, practice sewing seam allowance. Grab your muslin, your see-through ruler, of course, our fabric scissors, our magnetic pin wand with straight pins, and finally, a pencil. Now, measure, mark, and cut 8 5 by 10 inch muslin panels. You will need 2 muslin panels for each seam allowance sample. Line up the raw edges of 2 muslin panels. Now straight pin them together. Be sure that your pins are running perpendicular to your seam. Line up the raw edges of your sample with a 1/4 inch seam allowance guide on the flat bed of your machine. Now line up the raw edges of your sample with the 1/2 inch seam allowance guide. Now line up the raw edges of your sample with the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance guide. And finally, line up the raw edges of your sample with the 1 inch seam allowance guide. Now lay each sample on an ironing board. Be sure that each sample seam allowance is facing up. Now carefully press each seam allowance flat and open. Be sure to press both sides. And now you're done. Don't forget, practice makes progress.